Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get
Welcome to episode 1131 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. StickerU.com. Create custom stickers, labels, tattoos, and decals. Palma Pasta. Fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees. The Yes, We Are Open podcast. A Moneris podcast production. The Advantaged Investor podcast from Raymond James, Canada. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. And Canna Cabana, the lowest prices on cannabis, guaranteed. Joining me today, making his Toronto Mic'd debut, sort of, is Brian Dunn. Welcome, Brian.
Mike, I've heard that song so many times. Now I hear it next to you. How about that?
Quick, name the album that song appears on.
Maybe You Should Drive.
Hey, correct.
Yeah.
No. Come on, that's Shakespeare My Butt.
Oh, yeah.
Shakespeare My Butt. You just dropped the name of a Barenaked Ladies album.
Wait, oh my gosh. It's not like I've been binging them all day long.
I got so much ground I want to cover with you, but I will just say off the top that I said it was like sort of your debut because you were actually on the episode that we recorded at TMLX5 at Palma's Kitchen.
That's right. It was when my little daughter Luna was only 2 years old then, right before the pandemic, and I didn't know any of you guys personally. But now I feel like we're all good friends.
Well, that's, it's mind-blowing to me that this is actually only the third time we've ever been in the same space at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, we met at TMLX5. You jumped on the mic, and we got to know you, and we learned a lot about you, about your love of Christmas music and all this ground we're going to cover today. But then, not too long ago, I was at the Barenaked Ladies show with Canada Kev. Okay, this is all going to come full circle here, okay? So I'm with Canada Kev at Barenaked Ladies, and then of course we bump into Brian Dunn, the world's biggest,
and the Moose Grumpy,
of course. But Brian Dunn is the world's biggest Barenaked Ladies fan,
and you had better seats than me.
Yeah, well, I have. I know better people. I know. But okay, so I just dropped the name Canada Kev. Okay, so bear with me. You know how this works, but. I heard tomorrow's your birthday.
That's right.
So
me
happy birthday.
Kev.
Yes, well, that's right. This is what I'm saying. And I'm not even done with Canada Kev. You and Canada Kev have the same birthday. It's tomorrow. You're two great FOTMs. Happy birthday, Brian Dunn.
Thank you. This is the eve of my 38th birthday. I'm kind of worried. I don't know if my nose is going to be longer tomorrow or if my voice will be deeper. I'm really not sure.
I hope my voice is deeper tomorrow, and I don't need my nose to get any longer. That's enough. Okay. So happy birthday tomorrow, and happy birthday, Canada Kev. And this shirt I just threw on. Okay, can I show it to you? Hold on.
Yep.
So it says,
I will not sing
Barenaked Ladies songs in class. And it's like the Bart Simpson. It's just like, I guess not. Why do I give that to Bart Simpson? That's just like we were doing that before Bart Simpson's blackboard. You have to write it out or whatever. And Canada Kev, this is from a concert in 1991, August 9th and 10th, 1991.
He gave that to you?
Yeah, Bathurst Street Theater.
Was it your birthday?
No, I don't know. He gave it to me. Like, he's just a generous guy.
So kind. I missed him at that concert though. He was just gone somewhere. I'm not sure what was going on. Oh, you mean
the recent one?
Yeah.
Okay. Not the 1991
No, 1991, I was 7 years old, so I wasn't at that concert.
Okay. So now we know Brian Dunn's age tomorrow. Okay, you're still a puppy. Okay, we have a lot of ground to cover, but happy birthday.
Thank you.
And that's the only TMLX event you've ever attended, right? Was number 5.
Yeah, sadly, I've, I was, we'll talk about Korea, I'm sure, but I was living in Korea for a while, and then there was that pandemic, right? So,
yes.
Yeah, pandemic. And then the last one, my family left for Korea, like I think the day before, but right before she left, Luna gave me a little cold. It wasn't COVID, but I didn't feel like
okay, 'cause I was going to say that fifth one you attended, there had been 5 TMLX events pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, so
But
what was your gateway into the Toronto Mic'd universe?
You know, it has a little something to do with Barenaked Ladies.
I'm shocked.
The infamous, amazing Tyler Stewart interview. I listened to that partly on a train from Seoul to Daejeon, where I was living. And from what I remember, that was like a 2.5-hour episode, over 2 hours.
Because he had great stories and he loved the show, so he knew like the rhythm of the show, and he just like a duck to water.
And he's a drummer, so he knows rhythm, right? It makes sense.
His timing was perfect.
You know, everyone says, like, Brian, you know everything about Barenaked Ladies, but Tyler knows more than me.
You know what? Debatable. We're going to get... Okay, so if you want your, like... I think I teased on Twitter initially that this was a very deep dive, and it's not a very deep dive. It's more of like a love letter. We're going to learn about Brian, because there's a lot of interesting aspects to the Brian Dunn.
Yeah, I know a lot about BNL, but I feel like a lot of people know the history. There's a lot of
you're only
nuance.
7, like in 1991.
Yeah,
so it's
I feel like people like talking about those early days. Like, I went to school with them and stuff, and I was like I was 5.
Right. So when you were 7 in 1991, did you listen to the radio?
You know what?
What?
Little.
Were you listening to CFTR? What was going on?
Little confession.
Yeah.
Mike. My parents.
Yeah.
Got me into Barenaked Ladies, but at the beginning, I did not like Barenaked Ladies. Yeah. So let's say we're driving around, CHFI, $1 Million comes on the radio. That's the song that they would crank up. Me and my sister would be in the back going, Mom, Dad, no. It was one of those songs.
Okay, you know, it's starting to crystallize for me. So your parents were big BNL fans, and they brainwashed you from a young age.
Didn't reach this level, but they were fans.
And you know, they like, oh, we created a monster.
And then also in the mid-'90s, they bought a 6 CD changer. And one of those CDs was Gordon with the original cover. So,
well, what's the original cover? Isn't that the red, white, and blue ball
with all the gang on the fronts? Later they changed it to just the ball.
See, I didn't even notice.
Oh my gosh.
That's the fun facts you're bringing with us today.
So back then, as we only had those 6 CDs, which would change every once in a while, but I associated particularly the song Box Sets with "Okay, get up, it's time to clean the house."
And you still love this band, like passionately.
Passionately.
Okay, so we're getting
a lot of things passionatally, but this is one
have
I'm more known for.
You have a lot of passions, which I quite like. So what I remembered from your appearance on TMLX 5, the first time I met you, and you were an unknown commodity to me. You're like, "Hi, I'm Brian Dunn," and you're there. Is the hairstyle? Yeah. So. You had, can I call that a mohawk? What was the style you were rocking?
Yeah, it was a mohawk, and it got, the next few years it just got sadder and sadder, and I just had to say goodbye.
Like thinned out?
Yeah, thinned out. Whatever you believe in, the Jesus or Spaghetti Monster, or whoever's up there did not want me to have hair. I've never had a lot of hair anyways, but I had hair in the middle.
Okay, so was that like that style was more of like you were forced into painted into a corner there, like you were trying to make some lemonade out of the lemon?
No, because it was I did that even before I started losing my hair. I did that kind of mid-university.
Like it's memorable. Like I remembered meeting you, and I always remembered that look because I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat hair. But now I'm just letting the world know, even though we're gonna take a photo afterwards, but it might be dark. They might not see. So you basically took it down to the woods, so to speak.
I now do it in the shower, and I love it so much. I can run a little bit faster, and I just grease it up all the time. It's great.
Okay, you remember Donovan Bailey sat in that exact same seat just a few days
so now
ago.
I can run even faster. I'm rubbing my bum against his right now.
He'll like that. Okay, now I know you don't drink, so do not feel tempted to join me, as if you might. I will now crack open a Great Lakes.
38's a good time to start, right?
Yeah. So you never drank.
No, I have stories of people thinking I'm drunk, but I was FOTM. Jason
Welcome to my
Agnew.
world. Okay, well, yeah,
I'll tell you that.
Drop all the names. Okay, so here it goes.
There you go.
So thank you, Great Lakes Brewery, and one day we'll get Brian to a Toronto Mike listener experience at Great Lakes.
Thank you, tap water.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and I hope it's like tepid. What is it? Tepid, as they say. Okay, not the coldest tap water I've ever poured, but you enjoy your tap water. I'm going to enjoy my Great Lakes. Let me get a slurp.
Delicious.
So, do you know Jason Agnew because of your mutual love for Barenaked Ladies?
It grew into that. we went to the same school, what used to be called Ryerson, now TMU, right?
Right.
We have
The other TMU.
Yeah, mutual friends, John Pollock and Wei Ting.
FOTMs,
Yep,
all of you.
FOTMs.
Wow.
We, I worked at the studio called Pyman Studios in Mississauga, which is where we shot video and arcade with FOTM Nicholas Pickles.
Okay, slow down. Okay, so you worked on Video and Arcade Top 10?
Yes. You didn't know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, selling the shock for
Video
the
and Arcade
audience.
Top 10 was my very first TV job. I got it when I was 15 years old. My first job was turning on the air conditioner in between commercial breaks. And over the years, I got to know Nick, and Nick got to know things I liked, like BNL, and would invite me backstage to like a BNL show sometimes. And
he fueled this passion. Okay,
he's
so
been a great friend over the years.
and he's still a good friend of yours.
Yeah, he DJ'd our wedding.
Did you play a role in Nicholas Pickles coming on Toronto Mic'd?
So right before the pandemic, I visited him in Buffalo, and I was telling him about your show, and I was like, you got to go on the show. It's great. He really dives deep into people's past and stuff. He's like, dude, not really into the podcast thing. Plus, we do them here in Buffalo. It might be a conflict of interest. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, I didn't want to push it. But then I think maybe you reached out to him.
Yeah, I slid into his DMs.
Yeah, and then he remembered me talking about that. So he was like, well, if Brian says it's okay, give it a shot.
Brian vouched for me.
Yeah.
Okay, which I appreciate. Okay, so you're at Video and Arcade Top 10. You're only 15 years old.
Yeah.
But you
Started young.
mentioned Agnew, and I know Agnew spent many years on Byte.
That's right.
So did you also have a show on Byte?
I did. So this is the studio Byte was out of was the same as Pyman, which is where Video and Arcade was shot. We also did golf shows there, score golf and stuff back in the day. So I started as like a PA. I worked up to be the judge on Video and Arcade Top 10.
Wow.
And then the one time, speaking of drinking, Jay saw me one time, and he came to the RTA awards thing. Me, John, and Ware in the same year in RTA. So Jason was a presenter at this awards ceremony. So I saw him. I was like, man, that was so much fun last night. He's like, Brian, you were so drunk and high last night. I was like, no, I don't do that stuff, but it's my energy management.
I can relate. Can I tell you? I can't tell you the number of times people thought I was drunk when I was stone sober. Like legit, I do think it's an energy thing. Like sometimes I kind of get high on life and then I'm up there, but it's completely natural.
Yeah, and I love that.
And people just assume you're on a substance of some sort, and that's not true most of the time.
Not true. Not for me. I've never actually. This came up on my Facebook memories recently. The night before I met my wife in Korea, I got a little bit buzzed on soju, which is kind of like sake, like a Korean liquor, like hard liquor.
Okay.
We were at the karaoke room. My friend mixed it with mango juice. I didn't taste it at all. And then I was like, why do I have to pee so much? And why do things feel a little tippy? And I was so paranoid that night. I drank like 3 liters of water. I'm sure compared to anybody else, I was not drunk at all. But like,
Right.
I was so...
Well, yeah, there's no tolerance
Yeah.
there. So okay, so you're on, what was your show on Byte?
It's called The Life of Brian.
Okay, I have a clip. So I do have some clips here and there. No, I don't have The Life of Brian.
There's
Okay.
one, the interview with Jeff Dunham is from Life of Brian.
I can't tell what's what, so I'm going to just play something and
Go
you'll tell
ahead.
me what
I
this
can-
is.
yep.
Okay. This is something about Brian Dunn. Here we go.
I thank you for coming here at our hotel room and
You know what Steve does? He brings good luck to an interview.
oh good. Well, what happened today?
What?
Oh, nothing. This has been the best interview today.
Okay, what's that?
So I have been on the other side of the mic, just like you, Mike. So that was an episode of Life of Brian.
Okay,
I was
good.
interviewing Jeff Dunham, who's a ventriloquist.
Sure. I know
That
Jeff
is his
Dunham.
puppet, Walter. And at the time in my Life of Brian show, I had a sidekick named Steve, and he was a waving cat. And instead, waving cat, it's not a puppy. You can't make the mouth move. So I would just, in post, I would do his voice. And his voice was kind of like, it's a waving cat like you would see at a Chinese restaurants.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But his voice would be like, hey, Brian, how you doing? Yeah, I love being here. It's kind of like cowboy. And
I thought that was Jeff Foxworthy.
yeah.
My mistake.
So I because I'm doing the interview with Steve, I brought Steve with me to the interview. I was doing the voice live, and they thought that was maybe a little crazy, but also funny, and we had a really good time together. That was back in the day when you could like put a top 10, like on his account, you could put a top 10 of your favorite YouTube videos. So they put that in there, and I got a lot of views from Jeff Dunham's like fan community. Super fun.
Okay, that is super fun, and that's you working with Jason Agnew on Byte. So when did you find out Jason was also a massive BNL fan?
Oh man, maybe like early on when I started at Bytes, because it, he would be playing some music at his computer or something. Later on in my second year at Bytes, I went on a BNL cruise with him. So I was like, oh, this guy's probably a big fan if he's going on the cruise.
Yeah, no, you got to be a big fan to go on the cruise.
But, we went to some shows together, and always talking about the band and all the drama, man, all the drama with Steve leaving and stuff that happened when I was
Were
working.
you on that cruise?
Yeah, that's the last cruise right before Steve left.
Okay.
I went to the second last BNL 5-piece concert.
Because you're now saying that the last one was the when they got in the Hall of Fame.
No, the last one, they had 3 shows on the cruise.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, I went to the first 2.
Because Jason was at the third one. We confirmed this with
he was
with Tyler Stewart.
He was he was the first one with me. The second one, I got a free ticket from the camera guy from ET Canada, who used to be the camera guy at Video and Arcade Top 10. That's all these connections, man.
What a world I'm learning about here. Holy smokes. Okay, so shout out to FOTM Jason Agnew. Went to high school with my brother. That's how I first knew Jason, way before he was famous. And at what point now, there's 2 things I want to ask you about. You tell me what came first in chronological order.
Yeah.
You moving to Korea or you appearing on The Price is Right?
Oh, Price is Right is much more recent.
Much more recent, okay.
Korea was, I did 2 trips to Korea. First was right after Bytes. I was 25 years old, having a good time at Bytes, but I always thought about moving somewhere else, living somewhere else. So my girlfriend at the time and I decided to go to Korea to teach English in a public school system. Unfortunately, that relationship did not last very long, maybe like a month after getting there. But my journey to Korea was great. Great time in Korea. That's where I met my wife. Decided to stay another year after knowing her for 2 weeks because I was like, this girl is amazing. And she's listening right now.
Well, listen, okay. What's her name?
Jian.
Jian?
Yeah.
You married a very special man. I want you to know. I'm looking at Brian Dunn now, and yeah, he's got the energy, which I dig. I kind of feed off it.
Feed it.
But just the passions are what I like. Like you can have the energy and it just bounces around aimlessly, but you have these passions. I love passion. I'm just looking for people. I will listen to anyone talk about any subject matter if they're passionate about it.
Let me talk to you about rubber bands. Oh man.
Go ahead. Okay. So you're in Korea. Now you said you went there to teach English, but you had some kind of a media career in Korea.
So that's on my second trip to Korea.
2 tours of duty.
First year, because of visa regulations, I could not work in TV there. So it was just that was a break from TV for those 2 years when I was in Korea. I did a few like YouTube while I'm living in Korea stuff, but there's so much of that out there.
Okay, so you come back to Canada.
Yeah, so we were there for till 2012, and then I was in Toronto from 2012 to 2016, and then went to Korea 16 to 19.
So when you're in Toronto again, between your Korean trips there, is that where Brian's World happens?
That's right, with Treehouse.
Okay, let's listen to a little clip from Brian's World.
Well, that's it for our Halloween episode here on Brian's World. I hope you have a real happy, spooky Halloween. Until next time, my name's Brian, and I'll see ya. you real soon. Bye.
There's 2 Brians. That's the joke. There's 2 Brians in there.
Oh,
not
2
everyone
Brians.
can see, but it's like, whoa. That's why I'm like, whoa. Surprise. There's a Brian right behind me.
Okay, I love that. That was
Green
a
screen.
Halloween special.
Yeah.
Here we are recording in mid-October. That's on YTV. Whenabouts would that air, Brian's World?
So that was only on their YouTube accounts. They were trying to do some new stuff with some independent creators. And actually, it was me and then this woman named Miss Persona who did end up on the network. So
Was Splash and Boots blocking you? Like, were they basically hogging all the good time
hey,
slots?
you know where I ran into Splash and Boots one
Where?
day? At a B&L concerts.
I'm not surprised because
Nah.
I think they might have kicked out Barenaked Ladies
Yeah.
when they kicked out the jam.
I remember your episode with them. They were talking about snack time and everything. I was in one of their videos as well. Cantaloupes and Antelopes. They're very nice people.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, they're lovely people. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on. Two appearanses on Toronto
That's
Mike.
right.
So, they were very lovely people. I think I might have upset them briefly, and then I feel like we're okay now. But I just shone a light on something.
I just saw that they liked my post about coming to appear on here. So I
'Cause
think
like
all
them,
is forgiven.
But they were supposed to be. They were going to play live, like adults, covers of like 90s songs. They weren't going to do the kids' music at a TMLX event. And then they got an offer they couldn't refuse in Newfoundland from Alan Doyle.
Oh, yeah. He
So I
produced
got to
their
know,
album, right?
Alan needed them in some studio for another day, so they couldn't make TMLX, whatever it was. And I completely understood, even though I think at least one kid was in attendance to see Splash and Boots. But I completely understood, so no hard feelings. If Alan Doyle calls, you have to accept the charges.
And fun fact about Splash and Boots.
Yeah.
Their longtime producer was my high school music teacher.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay. And
Port Credit High School.
So you're a Mississauga guy.
Chris Graham.
Shout out to Chris Graham. So
Shut up.
Mississauga is where you find Palma's Kitchen. That's where I saw you at TMLX 5. I'm going to send you home, Mr. Dunn, with a large lasagna from Palma
right.
Pasta.
You know, my wife we both love Palma Pasta because we used to go to the one at Queensway and Highway 10.
Here, Ontario.
Yep. And then now where we live now in West Mississauga, we go to the Oakville location on Dundas.
Right.
But this location's even closer because I just get it upstairs and take it home.
It's in my freezer right now.
So my wife Gian's like, oh, so he gives you like a voucher or something? And I was like, no, he has it in the freezer. So she's very excited to get some pasta.
This is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I just put a new order. So
I can feel from
you're
all the goo over here.
You're my second episode of the day, and I can only fit 4 of these things in my freezer. So there's I've had a lot of in-person guests lately. Like it's like they're coming in. So it's like making sure I always have like fresh supply in the freezer. It's always a tough gig, but I've got one for you, Brian Dunn.
Can't wait.
Okay. What, anything exciting before I get you back to Korea? And then, by the way, at some point, we're going to turn the channel and talk more B&L. But I want to get this.
Another connection with Brian's World. That was all put together by my good friend Matt Chin, who was Jason's sidekick on the Conventioneers on Bites.
I used to watch that.
So me and Jay had the B&L connection, but me and Matt had like the Disney, Charlie Chaplin connection. Also, he doesn't drink. When I went to LA, I went to Disneyland with him, and he came with me to The Price is Right.
Is now a good time to talk Price is Right?
Anytime, man. I know. I've heard your episodes. You jump around timelines. Timelines don't matter.
But is Price is Right after you return from Korea the second time?
Yeah, Price is
then
Right.
hold it.
Was right after TMLX 5.
Okay. This is exciting. I'm going to tease this then.
Okay.
I have some audio from Price is Right that's going to blow your mind,
Ding, ding, ding,
man.
ding.
Drew Carey and everything. This is awesome. Okay. I'm going to give you just a couple more things real quick. Ridley Funeral Home is sending you home, Brian, with a flashlight. That's for you, buddy.
You know, I heard Matt Dust talking about this, how you can check to see if people are dead. My mom is an Anglican priest, and she does funerals. So, I think this could be an extra service before they finish their funeral. An extra $50. They'll check if they're really dead, then we'll close it.
Your mom's an Anglican priest.
That's right.
And a Barenaked Ladies fanatic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're not
And
mutually
hey,
exclusive.
if you remember the Farah Nasser episode,
How could I forget?
She credits my mom for helping her out.
Remind us, because I do remember this off the top. We talked about it, but remind the listenership. How are you connected? How's your mom connected to Farah Nasser?
So my mom was kind of worked as like a counselor, like a guidance counselor at Glen Forest Secondary School in Mississauga. Shout out to Mississauga. And Farah was interested in reporting something on TV, and my mom really convinced her and gave her lots of support and brought her family in and, really said that you should go after your dreams and pursue journalism. And she got onto Rogers Cable 10. And then the rest is history. Now she's a national national anchor.
And she was on her way back for her second appearance when the Queen died.
Yeah.
Very selfish of her.
Yeah, so my mom couldn't help out with that.
And shout out to Ridley Funeral Home, right? See, it all comes full circle. But then Farah went to London, and now we got to reschedule her. It's tough to get in the calendar. I don't know how you did it,
I'm really excited to
Brian.
see what kind of jams she's got.
Okay, I don't actually think she's kicking out the jams.
oh.
Now that you mention it, I think it was like just a catch up, and we never really finished the first.
Lots
chat.
going on. Yeah.
So lots going on. What kind of jams do you think Farah Nasser would be into? I don't even know. Like I can't even guess. You know, Harry Styles maybe. Is she a Harry Styles
I think
gal?
she likes the kind of poppy stuff. I could see that. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on here, but
Yeah.
StickerU.com has a Toronto Mike sticker for Brian Dunn.
Love it. I'm putting
Where's that going?
I was thinking because we have a car, but we want to replace the car, so I don't want to put it on the car. Maybe put it in the fridge for now, so it keeps its adhesiveness. I don't want to waste it on
By the way,
something.
I can tell you, I've seen stickers in the wild that have been applied like 7 years ago. StickerU.com stickers that have like had the elements. Like nature has been pummeling these stickers for several years, and they're still in fantastic condition.
Wow.
I'm telling you, what quality stickers, okay? Shout out to StickerU.com. This trip to Korea, what brings you back to Korea? Is it that there's a woman you love in Korea? Or did she come back with you?
So she came back with me.
Okay.
And she lived in Canada for... She was about a year behind me. I came in 2012. She came in 2013. So we're together for 3 years. And I was, again, feeling kind of restless, just like I was at Byte. Like, I need a change. We always talked about maybe spending some time in Korea, maybe after we have a kid. But one day she was like, we should go to Korea. And I was like, no, we can't do that. That's crazy. And then the next morning I was like, actually, that's a good idea. We decided, I think we booked our flights like 3 days later. Told my parents.
What year is this?
This is 2016.
Okay.
Told my parents like, what? You know, because we had a place. We just had our wedding. We had all this stuff. But we it just felt right. Just felt right. So
and what's Korea like? Like, obviously it was such a positive experience that even though your gal was in Canada, you still wanted to go back.
Yeah, you know, like, because the year before, 2015, we had our Korean wedding there, and I was, just the memories come back, man, like those old neighborhoods, and I thought about, because there was kind of a sad time after I broke up with that girlfriend, even though it was the right decision. You know, it was kind of lonely,
right?
But then I got to see all the things that we did together, all those memories, and then we created new memories because we created life over there.
Did you create the life in Korea?
Our daughter Luna was born in Korea in 2017.
Okay,
yeah.
And I've met Luna.
That's
as
right.
you pointed out.
She's like so big now. She's 5 years old.
Okay, wow, that is big.
Yeah. So you know, the plan was to go over there, and maybe I could do some private classes, and then I would still do my treehouse thing over there because I could get a green screen and just shoot it anywhere.
Right.
So the teaching, I thought I could like just get private classes, no problem. I thought I'll call it Brian's TV English, and it's going to be all different and fun. But the parents are not looking for that. They're looking for their kids to like pass the test, so they get the textbook out and stuff.
Right.
So that kind of failed, but I ended up getting some. Just like a part-time job, and then what really launched us in Korea was the show called My Neighbor Charles, or YouTube Charles in Korea, which they followed us around for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they put a show together of our life in Korea. And they actually did 2 episodes on us. So they did an episode when we were just kind of like struggling, and they showed me doing my show, and they're like, how many views do you have, Brian? I'm like, 75. and then a year later, I was like a star, you know, all these big shows in Korea. So it was like, wow, that passage of time. But I'm done with those kind of shows. I did 2 episodes of that show, and then I did one with MBC, which is kind of like the CTV of Korea.
Okay.
And then it's like, it was the same stuff. They wanted to show me waking up. What's Brian eat for breakfast? Let's take Brian to a market. Oh, Brian doesn't understand Korean. Ha ha ha. Okay, we're gonna all these kids, and the kids go up to Brian, say stuff, and even if I responded because I knew enough Korean, they'd say, "Oh, just do it again. Just pretend you don't know what they're saying." So I was kind of done with that kind of show in Korea.
Okay, so I'm going to play some clips from your great media career in South Korea. And you can tell me what the heck I'm listening to. So here's the first one.
안녕. Hey, 찐이에요. 찐이. 오늘은 찐이 제가 진의 친구를 소개할게요.
Hi, I'm Brian. I come all the way from Canada. Nice to meet you. Okay, here we go.
하나,
둘, 셋.
재밌다! 와!
Wow, audio levels.
잘했어요!
Hold my hand like that. Yeah!
Okay, what is this, Brian?
So that is Hey Ginny, and she was a big star when I worked with her, but now she is gigantic. She's just everywhere in Korea. Like, she is the biggest kids performer in Korea. Like, anyone would know who she is.
Is she like the Wiggles of Korea?
Yeah, pretty much. And actually,
That's big.
when we were, I went to visit in June, and she has a stage show just like the Wiggles. And Luna is a big fan of hers. So Ginny got us tickets, and Luna got to see Ginny live, and she just lost her mind. And she's like, and Daddy knows Ginny? Oh my God, it's just like blowing her mind.
Okay, here's another clip. I don't know if it's the same thing or if it's different. You'll tell me.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I've heard so much.
와, 연예인과 함께 방송하는 거예요.
This is Itaewon Freedom by JYP on One Fine Day with my friend Lena.
너무 흔쾌하시고 긍정적인 에너지 뿜어 나오시니까 저도 너무 편하게
People who understand Korean are just flipping out right now. So that was My Neighbor Charles. This is the second episode they did on us.
Okay.
And that is KBS World Radio. KBS is pretty much the CBC of Korea, like times 100. Like it's gigantic.
Okay.
They have like an English service, and that's their radio station. Lena Park is the host. She was a big singer in Korea, and they asked me to like play music, and obviously I couldn't play BNL, but they I played like Itaewon Freedom was a hit, but in 2010, which is that's like the K-pop I know when I was first in Korea, but it's still a banger. I love that song.
Okay, now I'm curious, like, was there any evidence at all that Korea had any idea who Barenaked Ladies were?
Okay, I tried a few times. I was on a radio show on a network called, there's lots of networks, man. I was all over the place. On EBS.
How big, and then you have to help me understand, as a guy who's never been to Korea and knows nothing really more than just BTS is a popular band that people seem to dig. I need a sense of how famous you were in, like, are you to Korea as Jason Agnew is to Canada?
Maybe a little bigger.
Okay, well, listen, I wanted to start in a certain place to get a sense. So, okay, but are you nationally known in Korea on some level?
I'm known for different audiences for different things. So Ginny, as I said, is gigantic, and still, I don't know how many millions of views those videos have that we did together. I think I did like 5 videos with her, 5 or 6.
So she's a BFD.
Yeah. So I would get BFD. I would get recognized all the time by little kids. I remember going to like a kids' playground with Luna, and kids would come up to me and say, "Hi, my name is Julie. What's your name?" That happens all the time. That happened in 2010 when I first moved there, just all the time. And then one time I said, "Oh yeah, my name is Brian." They went, "Brian!" And then their dad came over speaking. He spoke English. He said, "Oh, they didn't know you were the real Brian. They thought you look like Brian, but you're the real Brian." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I'm the real Brian."
See, now I'm getting nervous. I didn't realize what level of star I had in the room here.
But
right now.
I get recognized for different stuff here because My Neighbor Charles, and actually a show I did called Action English, which is also on KBS, which is still on TV, I think every Fridays. Basically, they call it the Korean Sesame Street. It's like it's a half-hour programming every day. A bigger English star than me, his name's Sam Hamilton, had this show called The Return of Superman. The idea of the show is it shows guys doing household chores and stuff, which is whoa, that's a big deal in Korea because guys don't always do so much. And there's an English host who speaks really good Korean. He came to our show and did some stuff with us. So I was on that show. I was on the Superman show. And this past summer, I was going to the X with my family. I had my hat on and my mask on, and this woman recognized me from that show. I have no idea how she recognized me.
Wow.
My eyes, man.
Wow.
And that was also 5 years ago. She's
okay.
It's just all around like
you're Mr. Dress Up? No,
we talk about
you're not there.
Well, we talk about K-pop, but K-pop and Korean dramas, but also like this woman that recognized me on the train. She's not Korean, but she's just obsessed about Korean stuff. So people follow not just the dramas, not just K-pop, but all the different shows that are on there, the documentaries, the reality shows. So I was the Return of Superman was one of the ones, I think it's still on, one of the biggest kind of reality shows. And then the Neighbor Charles is also pretty big. I think that's more so big in Korea because it's showing how foreigners act, like how they adjust to Korean life.
Okay, so let me just put you on the spot here, Brian. Okay, so Brian is to Korean television or to Korean fame as X is to Canadian fame. Who are you putting in the spot of X? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Jonathan Torrens.
okay, no, good job.
Yeah.
Now I have a sense because you know,
so not huge, but known.
No, you're right, but in some circles, like my little circle, you know, Jonathan Torrens is famous.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're more.
I don't know if I'm James B though.
You're no James B, but who is? Have you met James B? I can just imagine you two together at some kind of
I've seen him. I saw him at I saw him at both the most recent Weird Al shows. I don't know if I've actually talked to him though.
Right, because you're a massive Weird Al fan.
He knows my cousin. My cousin William New did these shows that Drake called Elvis Mondays, and I know he was involved. I know
you're well connected.
James B was involved with those. Yeah.
Okay, but Jonathan Torrens. Okay, so now I have like a frame of reference for who I'm dealing with here. But I've had Jonathan Torrens on the shows, so I can't get nervous about you being here. And that was early days too when Jonathan showed up. Okay, so I'm playing a couple more clips here. Tell me what this is from.
차갑고 시원한 우유.
Drink. Drink the cold milk. It's cold. Drink the cold milk. Drink the cold milk. It's cold. It's cold.
Yeah, that is Action English, and that is still on KBS every Friday.
Wow.
So that was we did maybe like 20 episodes of that, and it's me and two other guys. I'm wearing yellow, and then we got Mr. Blue and Mr. Red, and we have these songs, and we dance. It's kind of educational. It's in English. You would have Korean backing vocals there, but I remember when I was doing the songs at first, I was like, I can kind of sing, but the other guys couldn't really sing either. So it worked, and that's how actually I got on the Hey Ginny show. She also has a show on KBS. She came to our tapings because we did a press conference together, and she was like, "Whoa, that Brian guy, that energy's off the hook." And then that's how I got on her show, and then later got onto some Chinese shows that maybe you have clips of as well.
Okay, so I'm going to play something from a Chinese show.
This is the phrase of the day from YLYK, the podcast designed to boost both your competence and confidence for conversing in English.
大家好，欢迎收听有龄优课的每日口语高频次节目，我是 Fiona。
And I'm Brian. Hello there.
Brian, you look so different today. I'd only ever seen you in jeans and t-shirts before, but now you're in a suit and tie.
Ever.
And wait, did you ever get a haircut?
No.
What's going on?
Well, today is a very special day for me. It's my wife and I's wedding anniversary, and we're going out for dinner later. So I dressed up.
Dressed up? Dress 不是裙子吗？但我没看到你穿裙子呀。
Of course, I'm not wearing a dress.
Yeah.
The word dress in the phrase dress up is a verb, which means to put clothes on. Therefore, dress up is to attire in fancy, best, or formal clothes for a special occasion. For example, I dressed up for my wedding anniversary.
啊，原来如此。
So that's what dressed up means. Honestly, I honestly had asked my wife. I had never had a clue. Okay, so this is your helping.
This is what I'm doing now.
This is happening now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're out of order now.
Last
Okay.
Last 2 years I've been doing this.
Okay, and what's this again? This is is this a YouTube video or is this a TV show?
This is all audio, and it's like a learning app in China. It's through this company that's actually they have an office in Canada. But yeah, my friend found it for me on Indeed of all places. They wanted someone with like broadcast experience and teaching experience. So I was like, hey, I can do that.
You're the man. Yeah. You're the man.
So I've been doing that for over 2 years. It's a little.
But is it difficult
now.
because you have to suppress your natural energy? Like you can't. You have to restrain yourself.
Yeah,
I'm listening to you there, and you're like showing great restraint.
I'm Jonathan Torrens.
Okay.
I got into that voice for certain things, and sometimes I even have problems getting out of that voice. I did a voice acting course last month, and I was doing some characters, and then the coach Paul Bates, who was amazing from Second City, and he does a lot of voices, was like, Brian, talk, just get out of that ESL voice. You can do it. Just more your natural voice. So I'm glad I took that course and I keep practicing because I love doing this stuff, but I want to do more voice work and TV work here because we don't plan on moving back to Korea.
What brought you back here? So your second time in Korea. Why did you leave Korea, come back home?
So we left in April 2019. Luckily, right before COVID. That would have been even worse if you're there for COVID. But we had a pretty tiny apartments. It was 2 bedrooms, but one was basically storage. Luna's getting bigger. It was kind of like if we stay longer, we're going to have to stay for like 5 years longer. We're going to have to get a bigger place. There's a bit more investment. And we always thought about raising our kids here, education-wise. And also it's just I'm more comfortable here. And there's certain shows like the Hey Ginny show. She wanted me to get better at Korean. Originally, I was brought in as a Korean English host, but then she just wanted me as like a host to just be and riffing with her. But that takes some time to get to that level, right? So
I struggle with English.
Yeah. It just took. We had to make the decision. We know it was the right one. I actually got an offer a few months ago to do a kids show in Korea like now, but the scheduling just didn't work. It was originally they're going to pack in 10 days of shooting, but then they could only do it over a month, like 2 days a week, but I couldn't do that. I still have to work here.
Can I now ask you about The Price is Right?
Go ahead, man.
Okay.
I got another friend on the show too, so I can give all the secrets.
Okay. Can I just play it? Let people go in blind. I'm going to play this, and then you're going to give us all the behind-the-scenes stuff here. Okay, this is Brian Dunn on The Price is Right.
What's up, buddy? Welcome to the show. How are you? You need a new spatula? Are you a chef?
No, I just love spatulas.
Just George. He's just a spatula lover. Hey, I feel you. George, what do we got for him?
You can go out and buy a few spatulas in your brand new car. Yeah! 21,293, please.
93.
Yes.
Good luck.
Nice year.
Daddy needs a new spatula. Yes!
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Wow.
Spatula lovers rejoice. Your king just won a car. We have more Price of Games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away.
You won a car.
I won a Hyundai Veloster, 2020 Hyundai Veloster.
And do you still drive that car?
It was so nice driving a brand new car. I didn't play, so I picked up this car in Grimsby of all places. The show will contact dealers, and
right.
So it's some people think you just like drive the car back from LA, but they find a dealer near you,
right?
And for some reason that dealer was in Grimsby, so
could be worse.
I didn't rocking B&L, but I was rocking Weird Al all the way home, like cranking Weird Al, and like it's the car smell so good. And then me and Jim went for a drive, and then I was like, maybe we can keep this car. It's cool, but then we got a daughter, and a Veloster is a 3-door, like it's smaller than our current car.
Right.
But we I loved it so much. So I wanted to keep it.
You sold it.
Sold it. unfortunately,
Smart move, I think.
When you win something in the States on anything, even a lottery, anything, you have to pay taxes. So
that sucks.
Canadian dollars on a $22,000 US car, it was $10,000 in taxes.
Wow!
And that money is still waiting to come back to me. I have there's a company that can deal with U.S. taxes to get it back. I'm not going to get 10 because part of that state tax. It might be like 7 or something, but it's something. But if you're if you're American and you win, nothing comes back to you. Like all those people that won cars from Oprah had to pay like $20,000 in tax. Like,
yeah, it's like more of a curse than a blessing.
There's after the show, you go and you fill out paperwork, and the last 2 people are the top winners, and I got all the way to the showcase, but I was over by $200. The woman that won, she just turned 18, so it was like a big deal for her. I got out, then her family was there, and they're like, "Oh, is Melissa still in there?" I was like, "Oh yeah, she's just finishing all the tax paperwork." And they were like, "Tax paperwork?" Like they didn't know. And she won a bunch of trips, so I don't know. I doubt she took any of those trips. You pass on the trips. I was offered that showcase, pass immediately. Rack rate for everything, no thank you.
Right? No, you were smart. Okay, so you what kind of can you tell me what you sold the car for?
18.5.
Okay, and
I was taxed here. So if you win a car here, totally free of taxes, totally free.
Okay,
but since that was from the States, I paid $10,000 U.S. tax, and then I had to pay provincial $3,000. So I only really won. It's like this $22,000 car, and then I walk away with $5,000. So, but luckily, some money's coming back. But I feel like
maybe one day.
Yeah, one day. I was actually messaging the company recently because it's been over a year since the IRS said they're processing my claim. Anyways, it was still like the best day ever. I had so much fun. That whole spatula thing you hear Drew talking about, I was wearing a shirt that said, "Drew, please get me a spatula," and that's because during the
Weird
show,
Al.
I'm also it's Weird Al, but I'm passionate about Price is Right. I used to watch Price is Right even in Korea, and Drew always makes fun of like, "Hey, if you don't win the car, at least you can win this bag of rice." So I thought of something that could be funny, and then I got the spatula
He
on
liked
there
it
for
too.
Weird
You
Al.
could tell he
liked it, and then they gave me a spatula after I spun the wheel. He signed it for me, so I have a signed golden spatula from Drew Carey. And when I met Weird Al in the summer, he told me he saw that episode.
Get out of here.
Yes, because
he loves spatulas too.
And one reason the guy next to me in Contestants Row, which is stressful beyond belief, being in Contestants Row, is good friends with Weird Al's hairdresser. So he shared it with him, and then Weird Al saw it. And then I connected with Weird Al's hairdresser, and when I had hair, he was like giving me tips on like, "Oh, you should color your mohawk and stuff." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not going to keep it for long." And then he went on this whole thing because he had hair plugs. He told me about those. And then when I shaved my head, he gave me some good comments on it. And that was the day he was doing the hair for Jamie Lee Curtis at the Oscars. So he's at the Oscars and then looking at Brian's hair. That looks great. That's all these things. Mind blow all over the place.
Buried in all that amazing goulash there was like you referenced you met Weird Al this past year. So how did that come to be?
I paid $500.
Oh, see, I don't like here, I tap out. Whenever someone says I met somebody and then I find out, oh, they bought like a ticket to meet, like they actually paid to meet the person, that does not count.
Yeah. Well,
you did meet him, but it's not like you organically, it's not like when you invited him over to your show and he came over.
I did. I met him randomly at the Eden Center back in 2008.
See, that counts.
So that's something.
That counts.
But this was because I was like, I did want him to sign the spatula. That was a big thing for me, but because of their COVID rules, or maybe they just wanted the crowd to move faster, no signing of personal things. It was only a poster.
But you paid $500 to meet Weird Al Yankovic.
And first row, and they had Weird Al Jeopardy before, which was really fun.
And you can't take it with you. Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home.
Take what? The experience?
No, your money. Like when you die, that money, I mean, Luna might want to be like, wait, I want some of that. Like Luna's like, why did you spend all that money on like Weird Al and Barenaked Ladies bullshit or whatever? By the way, yes, everybody, we're about to turn the channel and talk Barenaked Ladies. I got 5 jams loaded up. But One more clip I want to play. So that's amazing that you won the
Price is Right
car.
leads into that, right? What you thinking?
I'm going to play a clip because you appeared on the Marilyn Dennis show. So I'm going to play it and you're going to tell me all about this. In fact, somebody you're on this show with lives like a couple of blocks away in my little hood here. Oh, here we go.
Oh my gosh, so much energy. Please welcome Brian. Woo! What a home cook you are,
Hello,
sir.
Marilyn. How you doing?
Look at that.
Sup.
Really good. You got so much energy. You know, you could in fact have more energy than Mary Berg and Shahir Massoud.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
How did it go? And what did you learn from Shahir's basic burger with the Korean twist?
Yeah, Shahir likes to say how it's basic, and the patty itself is more basic than Mary's, but he has the slaw on his. So I'm excited to try that.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
slaw.
Okay. Taste tests. Taste tests.
Okay, Marilyn Dennis.
Yeah.
Who came up just so I recorded earlier this morning with Cliff Hacking from EPRA, Electronics Products Recycling Association. And two interesting fun facts. One is we kicked out a Weird Al Yankovic jam.
Right.
So we played it, and then I said mad props to Brian Dunn, who's coming up later. But also, and I can't remember how she came up. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the Sunday Night Funnies with Rick Hodge.
Love those. I used to listen every Sunday.
Me too. And that came up because we were talking about Dr. Demento, where I would hear Weird Al. So we have similar, even though you're like 20 years younger than me. But we also, then he mentioned randomly, he said, shout out to Roger, Rick, and Marilyn. And then I said, Marilyn Dennis is the longest serving morning show host in this marketplace right now. She's been there since the mid 80s. And here we are playing a clip of you on Marilyn Dennis's show.
Yeah.
Mary Berg lives in this hood. She films her shows just a couple
She's
of
also
blocks
a
away.
big Weird Al and B&L fan.
Okay.
Mary. I talked
I've
to
never
her
met her.
in between the our shoot. We're all chatting together.
Well,
Really
I just
nice
stalk her from the bushes, like on her. I won't dox her on her street. I'm out there watching her, but I'm too shy to.
You can't miss that red hair, right? And those glasses.
But she's there. In fact, my daughter's BFF is like, this is a semi, so she's on the other half of the house is where she lives. That's how close I am to Mary Berg. Oh my goodness.
Say that you have me on the pod. I'm sure she would remember that.
Well,
interaction.
that
Was
works
very
against
fun.
me. Okay. So you had a good time on Marilyn Dennis. How did you get that invitation? They just needed an energetic person to cook?
Hey. And also, my friend Sarah is a segment producer on that show, and she's like, "Hey, Brian, would
That's
be really
the
good."
answer.
Yeah,
Okay. That's how I get on not Canada AM, whatever they're calling it these days, because I'm a close friends of a segment producer. That's how you
so
get on these shows.
they tailored the show to us with the Korean. They made Korean burgers, so I had recipes from Shahir and from Mary. And we cooked them, and then I was I can cook, but like cooking on TV, there was some shots. I was like, oh my God, it looks terrible, because I had to like mix all the meat together. So.
Sounds difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk Barenaked Ladies now.
Oh yes,
you've been a fan for 20 plus years.
Yes.
And I got songs you've chosen that we'll play a little bit of, and then I'll fade it down, and then you have stories for all of these songs.
Yeah.
So
I got just stories upon stories, man.
We're gonna need a bigger boat, is what you're telling me. But before I press play on your first Barenaked Ladies jam, and I can't wait to do it, you have one more gift on the table. I know you have a gift for me, by the way, so I'm going to remind you about that. But firstly, Moneris has sent over an amazing wireless speaker that uses brand new technology. It's called Bluetooth. Have you ever heard of this? Anyway, just kidding. But that's a Bluetooth speaker, courtesy of Moneris. You can use that to listen to the Yes, We Are Open podcast, a Moneris podcast production. And you might have met FOTM Al Grego at TMLX5. It's possible.
We have chatted online. I don't know if I met him, but I feel
he
like
was
I know
there
him.
because he's 10 for 10, so I know he was there. But he hosts this show. I was actually listening to like the third episode of season 3 earlier today and chatting with him because they're talking about Kingston, Ontario, because there's a woman in Kingston, Ontario who started like dog food business, like healthy dog food business. And I didn't hear the fun fact that FOTM Stu Stone, FOTM Hall of Famer Stu Stone, almost became the morning show host in Kingston, Ontario. Like, I didn't hear that, and I was a little disappointed.
I thought that was just like you guys were having fun in the group chat. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Brian, nobody knows, because no one knows with Stu. Cam and I, you put a gun to our head, and you said, is it a shoot or a work, and we're dead. Like we have no idea what's going on over here. But Al Grego's been traveling the country interviewing small Canadian businesses and telling the story of their origin, their struggles, their future outlook. And if you're a small business owner or entrepreneur like myself, you'll find the podcast helpful and motivational. And even if you just like human interest stories, like even if you're not an entrepreneur and you work for the man in a corporate hellhole every day of your life, you'll enjoy the human interest stories that Al uncovers. So, Yes, We Are Open is in season 3. And since you've got the wireless speaker and you're listening to Toronto Mic'd and you're listening to Yes, We Are Open, you're also going to listen to The Advantaged Investor. That's a Raymond James podcast. Learn how to plan, invest, and live smarter with the Advantaged Investor podcast, featuring insights from leading professionals. I'm telling you, Chris Cooksey does a great job with this show. He keeps you informed and focused on long-term success. So you've got your marching orders. Brian Dunn.
You know, I was thinking about that podcast, and I maybe it was a dream or something, but I think he told me that it's very financially sound to pay $500 to meet Weird Al.
I'm starting. I think that was you were having a fever dream there. Okay, so by the way, are you COVID free right now?
Yeah, I have had 6 shots. The most vaccinated guest ever, I think.
So
right?
Actually, now before I press play, I want to ask you, because I just booked my appointment for Wednesday. What is today, Monday? So Wednesday, I'm getting my 5th shot. And I thought...
Oh my gosh.
I know. I thought 5 shots would like tie me for the FOTM record, because I'm doing the math. We all got our first 2. They were important. Then we got a booster, and then we got another booster. And now I'm getting this thing they call bivalent, I believe they call it. I always say that word wrong. But this is like special for the Omicron, and I'm getting that Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But you are getting your 6th shot.
I got
it. In a nutshell, before I kick out the first jam, how the hell can you be on shot number 6?
So my first 2 shots were off book. You know,
you were testing something.
Get the chef to make me something. It's not on the menu.
Right.
Yeah. So this is 2021 in March. Back then, things were very different. We thought, especially people my age, would not be getting their vaccines till maybe fall 2021. You know, it seemed like it would take a very long time.
Right.
I had a lot of free time on my hands because the girls were visiting Korea again. So I was looking up how I can... For selfish reasons, I could get vaccinated early, but also help people get this vaccine approved. It traveled well. This one didn't need to be frozen. The vaccine name was Medicago, which is a Quebec company, partly owned by Philip Morris, which is a tobacco company in the States. So I did that in spring 2021. And then did all that back, and then I was on. That's how I repped Toronto Mic last fall, because I was on Global wearing a Toronto Mic shirt.
Thank you, by the way.
I was on Global, and then
I was honored.
See, the thing is, these news stations. I was on one CBC article, and then I was just contacted about all these different ones because they just saw that one article. So I was on like 1010, and
they're all like sniffing out the same stories. Yeah.
So and then that was when I couldn't go in to do indoor dining or anything because I was in a trial. I didn't have an approved vaccine.
Well, is it that you don't know if you got it or you got?
No, I got it. I know
placebo?
I got the real thing.
Oh, okay.
I got unblinded, so I know I got the real thing.
Gotcha.
But at that time, they weren't allowing people in trials to go indoor dining, stuff like that. But then once it got approved, I got this letter. But then everywhere I went, I'd go to the hostess and be like, I'm in a trial. It's not approved yet. But I do this whole thing. And my wife, Jan's like, you do this every time you go somewhere. So I was helping humanity, but I understand why more people dropped out of that trial. I didn't drop out until Omicron hit because I was worried about Jian because our baby was coming soon. Our daughter, Somi, was born in January.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. So... a lot of people dropped out.
So yada yada. This is shot number 6.
This is number 6. B&L time.
You talked Phil Morris. Okay, that shit'll kill you. But dude, I get the idea. You don't smoke. You mentioned to me you don't drink beer. You don't smoke weed either.
But I get
You're
the
like
Phil Morris.
you don't drink. You don't. Well, Phil Morris, that shit'll kill you. But cannabis, man, there's medicinal effects. A lot of people use it for treating anxiety, helping PTSD, all these great. It's got real strong medicinal
My
effects.
mom's whole family is all high all the time. I can't believe it. All
I
my
hope
aunts and
they're going to
uncles.
Canna Cabana. That's all I'm here to
Yep.
say, okay? They won't be undersold on cannabis or cannabis accessories. They got over 100 locations across this fine country. Are you, Brian Dunn, ready for your first B&L jam?
I think so. There we go.
Softball practice every night. It's getting dark, but the golden arches light up the way. I turn the corner at the traffic light. I count my money and then I rehearse what I'm gonna say. I'd like an order of fries, the quarter pounder with cheese. I love the light in your eyes. Will you go out with me, please? I am in love with a McDonald's girl. She has a smile of innocence, so tender and warm. I am in love with a McDonald's girl. She's an angel in a polyester uniform. Can I get you some fries with that?
All right, talk to me about McDonald's Girl.
Oh, man. I love this song. And listening to your interview with Tyler, I'm pretty sure he confirmed this is the only recording of this song.
Yeah, that's why it sucks, because if we had a better one, this guy would disappear.
But I love... they've done other covers. They did like Rio and When Doves Cry, but there's something about McDonald's Girl that it almost people don't even know it's a cover. They just think it's like a B&L song.
You nailed it. Lots of people are surprised when I tell them the fun fact that this is a cover. A lot of people think it's a Barenaked Ladies song.
Yeah. So that's I love that. I love that there's just this one recording. I'm glad it's... I remember I had this burned on a CD, probably from like LimeWire back in the day, but it's still living on YouTube now.
Right.
I think Steve might have done it on a recent tour because he toured with, I believe the songwriter's name's Dan Freeman.
That sounds... Right? No, well, that's Tarzan Dan.
Oh,
Are you friendly with Tarzan Dan?
Yeah, I actually I messaged Dan about B&L and Weird Al. We're both big fans of those guys. But I guess he was just in my...
Dean Friedman.
Okay, hey, it's close enough. It's a DF.
Yes.
He's D to F.
You were very close.
He's D to F, right? That's what that means? So this song is close to me because, hey, B&L, kind of a B&L song you can't find anywhere, any official recording. It's about McDonald's, which, hey, everyone loves McDonald's every once in a while. And this song, I'm going to throw it out there that my wedding's probably the only wedding that had McDonald's Girl played at the wedding.
Probably because most brides are like, the production values aren't strong enough. Are you listening to this? It sounds like it's potato.
We're gonna walk down the aisle to a bootleg CFNY recording. This was not... Our actual first dance was Zippity Doodah, which goes with my Disney love and my wife's Disney love. But this was at the fun dancing parts.
And that's a problematic movie, of course.
We
saw my buddy
Joe. Didn't show the movie. We didn't show the movie at the wedding.
Great song though.
And yeah, so Nicholas Pickles as our DJ played like B&L, Disney, K-pop. He played All I Want for Christmas Is You, even though our wedding's in September. But it's a banger. It's a fun dance song.
Okay, we'll get to that Christmas thing because that's like your thing.
Christmas.
You like Christmas music 12 months a year.
Yep.
Where like I don't want to hear Christmas music until December, and even then, I hope it's like December 15th or later, or whatever.
What do you do on the Santa Claus parade? Do you have like earmuffs or something?
Well, like, you do what you got to do, right? For the kids or whatever.
Man, what a life.
But like in mid-June, you're happy to hear like the weather outside is frightful.
Well, I'm going to, I don't know if this will play on my phone, but I actually wake up to Christmas music every day.
But isn't that like what happened? Like Jeffrey Dahmer did that, I think. I think there's a part in the series about that. He does that. I just think that that's a sign you might be like a serial killer or a sociopath or something.
I listen to this every morning.
But does your wife think this is okay? Is she not concerned?
Well, she sleeps in the basement.
Yeah, no doubt.
No. She. Okay, so Fun story about my wife. I really hope
she's very
she can come to
tolerant
the
woman.
next. She can come to the next.
I need to meet her. I need to meet her
she is,
so she can blink in Morse code. Help me.
She's an amazing woman, and the time that we were living apart when I was in Toronto and she was still in Korea, she told me about this guy that came to hit on her when she was in a bar.
Okay,
and he was like, hey, so what kind of music do you like to listen to? Assuming that she would say some K-pop group and he could show off his kind of K-pop thing. I know that was his play. But her answer was, oh, I like Disney music and Christmas music.
And then he ran away.
And then this is passed down generations as well. So my daughter loves, especially Rudolph loves Christmas so much.
No.
And we had some guests come over last week and she was like, I want to show them Rudolph, Daddy. I was like, maybe let's just check if they want to watch Rudolph first.
Let's let like Halloween end first, and then you can bring out the Rudolph. But I guess you be you. You know, you got to be you. So you love Christmas music all year round, and you wake up to Christmas music on your phone every single morning.
But hey, when you get Ed in the basement, Ed also listens to Christmas music all year round.
Now, Ed might not be in the basement. I might be going to him. Like, we're negotiating all this. The one thing that will not happen is I will not have Ed Robertson on trying to make via Zoom. We're gonna be in the same space at the same time. It's funny. That's my new thing now. Like, I'm talking to Matt Devlin, and it's like I've taken Zoom off the table for any desirable guest who is spending like some time in Toronto. Like, if you're out, in California or something, we can Zoom. But if you're in Toronto for a bulk of time and you're able-bodied and you're a desired guest, I'm not recording with you unless we're in person.
If you get to his place, he has like 12 pinball machines. I think you can have a lot of fun in his house.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Full tilt. Okay. You ready for your second B&L jam?
Let's do it.
Hands are shackled, feet are bound.
They're bound.
Sinking in the icy waters seems inevitable. Our protagonist will drown. But there's no rescue, no way off this ride. If all the world's a stage, we're burning down the theater with everyone inside. It's in the presentation, it's prestidigitation, it's kick the can, sleight of hand, fear and outrage on demand. Here comes the big disaster, here comes the end of days. Next up, the sweet hereafter. We'll tell you all about it after this commercial break. Stay tuned for scary monsters, watch out for rising tides. But first, a word from sponsors. Might be a mess, but it's a hell of a good time. The river's dried up.
I'm a little surprised. The second B&L jam from Brian Dunn is a recent song.
Hey, man, I don't like to live in the past.
Wow.
You know what? There's some great. I love B&L songs of the past. I love B&L songs of the middle. But this is B&L presence and future. And usually when that album's been out for a year, and actually it's the one I listen to the most because I've listened to all the other ones many, 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 many more times. This is my like rock out song. If you see me in my Hyundai driving around Mississauga and I have my windows down, I'm probably going, oh, wow, to this. I love rocking out to B&L songs. This is kind of like I did this. I still do it to like Too Little Too Late, which is from Maroon. But I love this. It's a banger. I love the song so much. It's my favorite song in the new album. And in an interview, actually with Marilyn Dennis, Ed said that his son said this is his new favorite song, and it unseated like his previous banger, I think, from All in Good Time. You have to check that.
Okay, good. Yeah. So B&L, you're not just a nostalgic fan, like looking for you don't want to just hear stuff from Gordon all the time or whatever. You're out there loving the new stuff.
There's great songs back then, but I love how they've grown as a band, and that's why in my selections I wanted to show the variety of what they can do, what they have done.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, love it. So I know we talked about your parents being B&L fans, but do you remember like the first B&L song that you legitimately loved? And if it's one of the ones, I mean, only one coming up could be it, but
first one I legit loved. I got really into my first B&L show was actually the 2000 Junos at the Sky Dome, and they played "Get in Line," which is a great song. And but I'm trying to. I think I started regularly listening to them around.
Is it around the time they appeared at Peach Pit After Dark?
Yeah, I didn't watch 90210, but it was probably around that time, like Rock Spectac time.
Yeah, that's
so
about it. Well,
I got into Rock Spectac, and then my parents got me like the previous albums. I already had Gordon. They had the Gordon CD. I had the Gordon tape, but I didn't have maybe Drive or Pirate Ship. I had some cousins that had Drive, and then I remember listening to it. I was like, oh yeah, this band, this is really good. But I was still, I was in elementary school, and you're just discovering all these different things, right? Just want to see what's out there. Oh! What's this song?
Shout out to FOTM Blair Packham.
I got a blue and red Adidas bag and a humongous binder. I'm trying my best not to look like a minor niner.
That's two jams together.
The football team to prove that I'm a man. I guess I shouldn't tell them that I like Duran Duran. This is me in grade 9, baby.
Well,
this is me in grade 9.
I know.
This is me in grade 9, baby. This is me in grade 9.
Did you know?
If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy you a house. Well, I would buy you a house. And if I had $1 million, well, if I had $1 million, buy you furniture for your house. And maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. And if I had $1 million, well, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy you a cake car, a nice reliant automobile. And if I had $1 million, I'd buy you love. If I had $1 million, I'd build a tree fort in our yard. And if I had $1 million, you can't help it, wouldn't be that hard. And if I had $1 million, maybe we could put like a little tiny fridge in there somewhere. Little tiny fridge, and maybe I could direct that old lady up there.
All right, tell people.
Theater. It's right up that ladder, lady.
Where can people find this version?
That's
this
from
live
Rock
version.
Spectac.
Right.
So I included that because I know, I'm in like a BNL fan page on Facebook. There's a lot of snobs that are like, oh yeah, but this deep cut, you gotta listen to this. And I know all the deep cuts. I love all, the B-sides. I know Long Way Back Home, She's on Time. I know all that stuff. But $1 Million, I really thought about this in our the concert we saw this summer. I was in the cheaper seats way in the back, and hearing everyone sing $1 Million. There's few songs where everyone knows the lyrics, and I know we're in Toronto, which is hometown, but really around the States and in the UK, everyone's singing along. It's a song that is always different. They play it in every show they do, but there's never an exact same version of $1 Million. So, of course, there's been times in the past where I was like, can we do one show without $1 Million? And I know those guys felt like that at one point, but there was actually an interview that Ed did, and it was talking about how Jim said $1 Million was their favorite song. And the rest of the band laughed at Jim. He's like, why would you say that? But he's talked about that connection people have. Especially in Toronto, everyone has that connection with $1 Million. They talk about at their cottage when they used to sing it by the fire, or on the bus trip, or whatever, or just seeing them live sometime. And now I can bring my daughter to the shows. We went to our first show together back at Christmas time. Woo! And Ed gave Luna a shout out during $1 Million, and I'll never forget that. The whole tree fort in her yard. He said, and we can bring Luna up to the tree fort.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa! And Luna kind of hid behind her her hands, but I'll always remember that. Thank you, Ed Robertson.
Okay, amazing. So you're talking to a guy older than you. So I was there for the yellow tape, and they were. And they were playing all of these jams like all the time on CFNY, and I was listening to a lot of CFNY. In fact, earlier when we kicked out McDonald's Girl,
Yep.
I am mildly, yeah, and it was all over CFNY, that McDonald's girl, and we at the time I didn't know that was a cover either, but I am mildly shocked that that's the best version we have out there, because you'd think somebody would record it off with a better version, recorded it off of CFNY. Like I feel like maybe there is a cassette somewhere in someone's box somewhere, like a cassette with a better version of McDonald's girl on cassette, recorded off of the radio. And we just have to get a hold of this cassette so we could digitize it.
Well, I feel like Tyler's the one that would know that, and he seemed to think like this was the only version.
No, I know, but I'm thinking that this Tyler doesn't know it because it's in some box someone's closet or basement has a crate full of old tapes where they would tape the radio, and somewhere in there is McDonald's Girl.
You know, I was thinking this is personally what I would do if I won $1 million. I would do an ad campaign around the city. And with a picture
Check
of
your
me,
tapes?
no, I'd say it's a picture. Just wait, okay? A picture of me,
too excited.
and there's a box, and it says, "Check your boxes for a McDonald's girl," and that's all it says. And then the people will know, and we'll find that tape.
I'll say, maybe I've been watching too much serial killer television. Okay,
What?
so, all right. So wait, let me understand. So yes, you're a super fan, and we're finding how deep it runs with you. You love Barenaked Ladies.
That's right.
But have you ever listened to a Barenaked Ladies album? When it comes out, you listen to it, and there's a jam or two, and you're like, I don't like that song, or I don't care for that song. So you don't like blindly love everything
there's like
they record.
I could name like Globetrot off Silver Ball is not my favorite song. There's certain songs that I'll love sometimes, not so much. Even like Looking Up on the last album, sometimes I like that, sometimes not so much. I have those moments. There's certain jams like as I mentioned, Too Little Too Late, that I love. Now I have that special connection with It's All Been Done, because I was singing that the whole time I was at The Price Is Right, because that's in the song.
Right.
But yeah, no, I definitely don't.
All right, it's not a blind love, you know.
them.
You still okay.
I'm not blinded by
and
the
then
lights.
again, now we're not going to dwell too much on this because, of course, Tyler's listening right now. Maybe other Barenaked Ladies are listening right now.
Hey, Tyler, I really enjoy your music.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you met me at the Blue Jays game and you said you'd be best friends and you give me your phone number?
I love this guy. Like we have to get Tyler Stewart back on Toronto Mics, and I think he's game, so it's going to happen.
I'm really looking forward to him playing like the old like some K-pop music. Maybe I've seen all his stuff. Maybe he's like a big like Korean reality show fan, right?
But I'm wondering if we go back in time to that period you discussed off the top when Stephen Page left the band.
Yes.
So Barenaked Ladies lost one of their founding members.
I remember.
Founding members. We all know the story. You know, Ed and Stephen, they're gifted and school, whatever.
Yep.
Okay. What were your thoughts at the time that you're now going to be going to shows to see Barenaked Ladies without that voice? I was listening to If I Had $1 Million, and that Stephen Page voice, so prominent in that song, and you're not going to hear it in concert again.
Mm-hmm. So that happened literally like maybe a week or less after that cruise ended, and you could feel some vibes were off. I remember at one of their shows, you know, Ed and Steve would always do back and forth raps, and Steve did a rap, and then Ed just said nothing. It was just blank, and that never happens. I've seen interviews with both of them saying, even if we had our problems, we were always good on stage. So that was super, super rare. So I felt something was off, but I was like, well, maybe, like I knew there was some underlying tension there, but hey, these are my guys. They'll get through it.
Right.
And yeah, I remember actually, this is, I guess I had Twitter back. I wasn't early adopter to Twitter because it bites, but I found out the news on Jam Showbiz. Do you remember that? It was like it was a Toronto Sun thing.
Of course I do. Yeah.
And it was on the main page, and at the time, I had my cat Mr. Jitters behind me, and I read the news, and he put his paw on my shoulder as to be like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Just like right the moment I read that. And yeah, of course there was shock. I remember the news report, you know, national news, and the guys like Ed did a interview with George Lagajanis in front of the speaker's corner, and George looked like he was gonna cry. Like, you know, people have such a connection to this band, especially songs like $1 Million, and is this just all gonna go away? Right.
Right.
That's what everyone was thinking at that time.
And many of those, like most of those songs that they still play, you and I saw them in the summer. They still play $1 Million. The song they still sing, which I'm going to ask your opinion on, is Brian Wilson. So you hear Ed do Brian Wilson. And I want to know what you think of Barenaked Ladies playing Brian Wilson without Stephen Page.
You know, it took the 4-piece, probably, Ed can clarify this, but at least a few months to start playing Brian Wilson because it's such a Steve song, but that's also a song that people expect. Not, you know, there's
it's a
people,
fan favorite.
There's people like me that know like the whole history of the band, but like I saw my cousin over Thanksgiving and he was like, "Oh, I want to go to the B&L show with you." And in December, I was like, "Yeah." And then my aunts were talking about, "Oh, last time we saw them, it was when Stephen Page was in the band," and he was like, "Oh, he left." so not everyone knows this whole story.
Not
knows all
everyone's
the drama.
dialed in to the degree of a Brian Dunn, that's for sure. But I feel like I feel like most people at a Barenaked Ladies show,
especially in
are
Toronto,
aware.
I feel like especially in Toronto, it's been
Where's the other guy?
12 years, 13 years.
It's all those like boyfriends and girlfriends that are like dragged to the show by their partner or whatever.
I never did that. I admit that, of course, it still sounds right using Steve's voice, and I've heard Steve do it like I've seen the Stephen Page trio.
Well, he does it every time because it's his baby. Like he was playing that on Bookie's CIUT show.
Right. So, you know, with the full band, if Ed was singing it alone, maybe that would sound more odd to me, but with the full bands, it still works. I know it's not exactly how we're used to hearing it, but I still have a fun time hearing Brian Wilson. But I would love to hear Steve sing with the whole band again.
We're all dreaming.
We all know it's not going to happen.
We're all dreaming.
People ask those questions. I really feel for the guys. And if they ever do like a Reddit Ask Me Anything or anything, it's like, hey, you guys get back together with Steve. It's kind of like, hey, Mike, that ex-wife of yours seemed really cool. Can you guys
Is there
get
room
back
in the
together?
bed with her?
Yeah, I know.
All right, my friend, you said you love Christmas music, so this one is for you.
And they say 'tis the season to be jolly, but it's folly when you volley for position. Never in existence has there been such a resistance to ideas meant to free us. If you could see us, then you'd listen. Toiling through the ages, making toys on garnished wages. There's no union, we're only through when we outdo the competition. I make toys, but I've got aspirations. Make some noise, use your imagination. Girls and boys, before you wish for what you wish for, there's a list for who's been naughty or nice, but consider the price to an elf. A full indentured servitude can reflect on one's attitude, but that silly red hat just makes the fat man look outrageous. Absurd though it may seem, you know I've heard there's even been illegal doping, and though we're coping.
Okay, so you're a man who loves his Christmas music. You love your Barenaked Ladies. And it's like you love peanut butter. You love chocolate.
And hey, this is another one I love. I picked this song because we got B&L, we got Christmas, and Bublé.
Wow.
So we saw Bublé this past weekend in Hamilton. There are 3 acts we will pay money to see every time they're in town. It's Bublé, Weird Al, and B&L.
That's the holy trifecta.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited to hear their project they do together. And B&L did a song with him for like a pandemic fundraiser called Gotta Be Patience. Bublé hosted the Junos the year that they got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
There's a lot of history of them together. And Bublé is another person that, you know, he's singing all standards, but his shows are always different. He really connects with the crowd, just like B&L.
Well, I saw him kissing the crowd's ass in a clip I saw on YouTube. He came out in an R. Kelly's jacket.
Yep, I was there, man. He does in every city. He does like he'll wear like a hockey jersey or something. So
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a showman and likable
speaking
guy.
of kids entertainment, the Wiggles were at that show on Saturday.
Even the old Wiggle. There's
Shout
one
out
left
to Ridley
over.
Funeral Home.
Yeah, well, maybe soon, because there's one like founding Wiggle who remains.
Yeah,
as,
but some of them, a few from the original group came back. I don't know how we're getting into the Wiggles now, but
okay,
but anyways,
and they added a woman.
Yes,
who then married a guy
and then
in
they
the band.
divorced. Yeah.
Did that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I
need a moment.
It's funny because Luna actually doesn't know the Wiggles, but she never got into the Wiggles. She goes into the Korean Wiggles, which is me. But
right, Daddy.
Yeah, that's
Papa Bear.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, love the song. Their album. One time
Is Luna listening right now?
She's sleeping right now.
Not like live. I mean, like it's an on-demand podcast.
I think she might listen to a bit, but she's sort of enough a daddy talking about. Just random,
she's not going to be impressed by this.
It's different. But yeah. So obviously, I listen to Christmas music year rounds. BNL is part of that. I remember walking because I went to TMU, walking down to Union Station, bumped into Kevin Hearn. I was like, "Hey man, I'm listening to you right now." And he's like, "Oh wow, what song?" Jingle Bells. So, I love.
What time of the year was that? Was that
It's
wasn't
in April?
Oh, April. Yeah. He probably was calling like helpline or something.
Hey, no, I've met Kevin a few times. He provided me with art for my Brian's World show. Super nice guy, but he's like he knows my Brian's World episode. He did all these like BNL references for everything. Is like, Brian, you can just do like a regular like story. I was like, no, it has to be all this. And then he watched it and I met him at his house and he was like, yeah, that was pretty. That was something. That was really something.
Did you listen to Kevin Hearn on Toronto Mike?
Absolutely, both episodes.
Okay, so what's better, part 1 or part 2? Or is it a tie?
Well, hey, it's cool. Hey, we're at the anniversary of Gord Downey's death today, right?
Because today's the anniversary of the death, but I guess they didn't announce it till the next morning because tomorrow morning is the anniversary of the recording I made when I learned the news. So I think that's the different. Now, yes, you're right. Today is the anniversary of the passing.
And you didn't know me then because you would have said happy birthday at the end.
I know.
By the way, shout out.
The tone was off, but I'm still going to shout out Brian and Canada Kev.
Yeah.
Okay, these two guys. Yeah, you're right. This is the anniversary of the passing of
I love,
Gord Downey.
Kevin is such an incredible musician and working with Lou Reed and Gord, and he does 2 tours with the Secret Path show, which started with Gord,
right.
But he and the Rio Statics, he plays everything. He plays with everyone. He writes all the time. I have all his solo albums as well. But recently, especially after Steve left, and even with Snack Time, he really took over with that. He did all the drawings for the Snack Time book. Kevin is super talented and
a sweetheart.
Sweetheart. I remember the show I saw him, the Christmas show. He's probably the only member that would recognize me by name. Ed pointed out my dancing to one week because I get into the music. I enjoy the music, and then Kevin said, "Oh, hey, that's Brian. Hey, Brian, I thought you were in Japan." So he was kind of right,
close,
but he remembered, and it was really sweet of him. The other guys had no idea what was going on, why Kevin was just talking to some random in the
See, I think
audience,
because Tyler Stewart listens to Toronto Mike, I think he's well aware of the name Brian Dunn. I think for sure. That's my feeling on it.
You say it that many times.
You get referenced quite often. I think,
there was.
you send in questions whenever someone sends in a question.
I remember
the
Noel Castor episode. You read my question, and
which one?
Noel Castor.
Yes, Noel Castler.
Castler, sorry.
I'm like, did I do a Fidel Castro episode? Noel Castler, that's right.
Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home.
Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. So we got one jam to go. So just before we say goodbye, though, I'm giving you a little a warning that if you have anything you want to give me, like no pressure, but you want to do this live on the air, like tell us what that is.
I would like to give you a kiss on the lips.
Let's bring it on, big guy.
No, okay. So my
You're
wife
6 times back.
My wife Gian is incredible at arranging flowers, and she's really focused on drawing ones now. She made these really nice arrangements for you and your wife, and your family can put them on the wall.
Beautiful.
I know they are like coaster size, but you don't want to crush the flowers, so
don't put a drink. Don't put my Great Lakes on it. My Great Lakes beer.
So
okay.
Her company's called Lunaria Flowers, and she just makes
shout out
it out at home. And she actually worked at the shop on Roncesvalles that Tyler Stewart used to frequent because he was friends with the owner.
Wow. Shout out to Ronces.
Yeah. But these are
beautiful. Okay,
dried
thank you
flowers
so much.
by Gian from Lunaria Flowers.
And they smell good.
They smell good. Yeah. The dried flowers are really in this year. She did a wedding using dried flowers, which you would think is all fresh because it's all about life. But I'm not saying the wedding would be like death because they're dried, but
just
it's just a different style.
No smoking allowed, right? Like sounds like a fire hazard, the dried flowers. No smoking allowed.
Whoa.
You got to consume your cannabis with edibles or maybe beverages.
But you can also I haven't been upstairs, but your house is big enough that you could put the flowers in one corner of the house and do your smoking in the other.
No smoking in the house. Although I want to just let the world know, next week we're on the backyard deck for a late night episode with Andy from Canna Cabana and Mark Hebsher and Canada Cab. He's come up a lot today. Mark Hebsher is going to be there. These are people, unlike you, Brian Dunn, who aren't afraid to smoke a little weed.
I'm not afraid. I think I'm going to turn into a really boring person.
See, that's right. Nobody will be happy with Brian Dunn if he takes the edge off with a little cannabis.
Hey, man, you ever think about the stars? Dude.
Now, are you
ready? I'm Jonathan Torrens, man.
Are you ready for your final BNL jam?
I wanted to surprise people with all these. Here we go.
We're going to introduce some casual fans to a deeper cut.
Yeah. This is the first cut of the album. It's not super deep, but... Smell it, man.
Smells good.
Houses all in a row. Front porch seats. Watching people go. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. And in between, Dundas and Queen. Get off at strong. Spread the blankets on the lawn. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Start in this downtown neighborhood, held together by nails and wood, where the old folks take their time. I wanna make good time with you.
Narrow Streets.
You know who that is, Mike? With the Barenaked Ladies?
Can I cheat?
So, those are the Persuasions. They're a group from Brooklyn that's formed in the 1960s.
So not the Nylons.
You know what? They influenced the Nylons.
It sounds like Nylons.
I was reading up on the Persuasions before this, and the Nylons were influenced by them. So Kevin met them at a Lou Reed tribute. And because they recorded with Lou Reed, they recorded with Frank Zappa as well, and a few other classic acts. I don't have anything written down. But Kevin thought it would be cool for them to do a song together. They were playing in Central Park in New York, and they did a few songs with them, and they're like, hey, man, let's do an album. So this is a Jim song from Silver Ball, which is a great song. I love Jim songs. Jim has a new song on the album, Here Together, which I love so much. You don't sleep on those Jim songs. I love them. But with the Persuasions, I just love the song. It really brings out...
No, very pretty song.
Yeah.
In fact, it ties in nicely with tomorrow night's toast topic is, Cam and I are focusing on 1960s girl groups.
Well, yeah, you got the Persuasions. That's perfect.
It's the harmonies, exactly. Right? And those harmonies go on to influence, and this is all spoiler alert, but of course, Brian Wilson hears some Ronettes, right? And then next thing you know, he's obsessed, and he's bringing that to the Beach Boys, And then, of course, the Beatles are hearing the Beach Boys, and they're bringing it in. And then suddenly you've got this whole style influenced by the 1960s.
And then they hear, and the Rockettes are at Radio City Music Hall. It all comes together.
It's all coming.
Yeah.
And now it's Christmas. Hey, Brian, before I play some lowest of the low, this has been fantastic. Firstly, again, well, not firstly, but I want to say happy birthday to you again. Your birthday's tomorrow.
Thank you. And I will start drinking beer right now.
It's better late than never. I want you to take a moment before I press play on this closing song. I want you to speak directly to the Barenaked Ladies. Like, you can even address them each by name. Like, I want you, Brian Dunn, because they clearly influenced your life and your career, and things seem to be going pretty well for young Brian Dunn here. Talk to the Barenaked Ladies. I'll shut up and listen.
Ed, Tyler, Kevin, Jim, thank you for your years of service. You have been such a great voice in my life. Growing up as a little kid, maybe I didn't like you so much when I was like 5, but then I turned into a super fan, and I've been to so many of your shows. I love all the work you put into your shows to make it entertaining and different. You want to make each other smile as well, and I can tell you're all having fun together. Keep up the good work. Keep touring. And keep making me and my family smile. Thank you so much.
How many shows you been to, if you had to guess?
Like
or
5?
Do you know?
Like 5 or 6? No, I don't know. It's probably...
I don't believe you.
I don't know if it's like over 100, but it's a couple dozen, a few... It's, yeah.
So like in
Many.
the 30s, maybe? Or in the
Perhaps.
20s?
It would be cool if I went to 37 shows and I had a 38 show schedule right now.
What's the furthest you've traveled to see Barenaked Ladies?
On the B&L cruises. So you could say like Cozumel, Mexico, or Ochos Rios.
Sometimes someone asks me that, like, what's the furthest you've traveled to see a band? And I'm like, Barrie?
I would absolutely go see them in the UK because those crowds seem like so much fun.
Brian Dunn!
Mike! Toronto Mike!
Amazing. You know, it's dark for our photo, but I think you're so bright, I think we're going to shine
My
through,
skin is
brother.
very white as your eyes.
Thanks for the gift. Make sure you don't leave without your Palma
Hey, Mike,
Pasta lasagna.
I have to thank you, too, for everything you've done for us
Oh,
FOTMs.
should I bring down the music? Okay, hold on. Go
I'm going to
ahead.
speak directly to you.
I'm listening.
No, Mike, like, hey, I talk about how the B&L helped me, especially with homesickness, but you did as well. You know, it was Tyler's interview, but I also listened to a ton when I was over there, helped me connect with, you know, I missed home. That's a normal thing to do when you're living on the other side of the world. So thank you for everything you do in your over 1,000 episodes. You're at what is it?
It's 1131.
1131. It's incredible, Mike. You and your, I love all your work, and all us FOTMs are behind you.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,131st show. Now, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Toronto Mike. Brian, how can we follow you on Twitter?
Brian, with an I, Brian D. Dunn, D-U-N-N.
So 1D or 2? There's 2 D.
Brian.
You went Brian D. Dunn.
Yeah, because it's D. There's a D. Dennis is my middle name. My father's
so
name.
it's Brian D. Dunn.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just
so there
okay.
is a second D.
Okay,
I'm going to make it clear for everyone.
I thought that might be a
I'll spell the
stutter.
whole thing out. B-R-I-A-N-D D-U-N-N.
Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery are at Great Lakes Beer. Palma Pasta is at Palma Pasta. Sticker U is at Sticker U. Moneris are at Moneris. Raymond James Canada are at Raymond James CDN. Recycle My Electronics are at EPRA_Canada. Don't miss Cliff Hacking, kicking out the jams earlier today. Ridley Funeral Home are at Ridley FH, and Canna Cabana are at Canna Cabana_. See you all tomorrow night when Stu Stone and Cam Gordon visit for another episode of Toast.
And I play this guitar just the best that I can. Maybe I'm not, and maybe I am. I guess I am, because everything is coming up rosy and green. my name.